Hello and welcome to Stand Up Diaries, entry 88, and this one's called Tap Into Where You Are Comfortable, and I wrote things like favorite room and among friends, because last night I did a couple shows, and the first show was run by Nick Martinello, and he started the show with playing Darude Sandstorm, and we all kind of like started dancing, and it just, I don't know, it made a really positive, warm vibe to the room. And I was trying out some new stuff, and it went over pretty well, but I felt that my performance was strong even though I was performing new material. You know, I had a nice strong voice, I felt good about the performance. And then the second room that I went to, let me just bring up Kuza a little bit. Here's Kuza joining us today. And so the second performance, it was in a room where I have not had the best sets, and I kind of let it get into my psyche. There were no audience members, fair enough. Well, there was actually just one guy. And so I just kind of let it get into my head and didn't have the strongest performance. My voice wasn't strong, I don't think my timing was very good, and I probably didn't look very comfortable. And so that's why I kind of wrote, you know, you have to tap into where you're comfortable, because that's going to happen. There's going to be times where you're going to be in rooms where maybe you've bombed before, or you haven't, you know, felt really great about your set, and you have to find a place, like a zen place, find that favorite room or that place with your friends that you go where you can just feel good about yourself and comfortable, and try to pretend that you're there, basically. I think that's kind of a good way of going about it, because comedy's very much a mental game as well as a performance game, and you can see it in tennis players. You know, some greats, they say do an unforced error and then they do a string of unforced errors because they've kind of gotten down on themselves, and that can happen in comedy. So Chrissy Everett was a really good mental player, and I completely understand that in the sense where you don't let where you are or who you're with or what you're doing affect the game that you're about to play. And the funny part is, that show, I actually went up to everyone in the bar downstairs and upstairs and tried to get people to come to the comedy show, and just after I got off on stage, 3 people who were really excited to see the comedy show came in, and they're like, "Oh, are you performing?" And I was like, "Oh, I just performed." And they're like, "Oh, encore, encore." So at least I know that I had the confidence to go up to a bunch of strangers and ask them to come into the show, and then it actually worked for 3 of the people, so at least that left an audience for the comics that were performing after me. So there's always a silver lining to everything. Anyways, this has been your next edition of Stand Up Diaries. I have been Michelle Christine, and this is Kuza, the Yorkshire Terrier puppy.